Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4, where we are playing with the Man the Guns expansion, and we are playing as the Netherlands. We are still Democratic Netherlands. We haven't started... Well, we have kind of started moving over towards Germany, but we haven't done it yet. Also, I would like to point out that I am still uploading some stuff to YouTube, so that is going to be slowing things down a little bit. So if there's a couple of dropped frames here or there, I do apologise, but it seems to be staying relatively on top of things, and I'm still rendering a video. But you'll be happy to know that this is the last video that I need to render while I'm actually live streaming. So in about half an hour to an hour, no, in about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, the speed should dramatically go up, because rendering is unbelievably CPU intensive, and moving through time is also CPU intensive. So I am really, really sorry, everyone, that time has been moving so slowly. I'm sorry, YouTube, for letting time move so slowly, and also for the fact that I totally missed the last 2 months on YouTube. I just forgot to press play, or I forgot to press record. Go away! What is wrong with this? What was I saying? Oh yes, apologies. So YouTube, I think we've missed from the 27th of December to the 27th of February. Not a lot has happened. I don't think... We finished the national focus, we've started building in Curacao, and we're still updating the ships. We may have finished some of the technologies, but we will revisit that in a moment. The other thing that I noticed between streaming sessions is we finished the Gateway to Europe, which is going to give us access to the Gateway to Europe decision stuff. So this is the unique aspect for the Netherlands. The tug of war between the British and the Germans over our trade is mounting. In dealing with their demands, we must be careful, as caving to the demands of one is likely to lead to hostilities with the other. So we can spend political power towards one or the other. So if we were playing as the unaligned or the democratic, for example, where we are trying to avoid the war, then we could placate one or the other in order to try and keep a balance between the two. And you can see right here how much influence either side has got. We as pro-Axis Netherlands right now actually do want to cave to the Germans, and to do that we need to make sure that Germany has at least 25 trade influence and at least 15 more than the UK. And this actually kind of seems to be the best outcome, because Germany receives a bunch of political power, fine. It changes our trade law to free trade, which is incredible. I really like free trade. And we gain cave to the Germans, which is democracy support reduction. I mean, that's not as big a deal. But it means that we have really good trade. Compared to caving to the British, where it actually curtails our trade. I didn't see this before. But we will go from... it's not limited exports, the other. What are we on right now? Export focus. So we go from export focus down to limited exports. While if you go for the Germans, and we go to free trade. So caving to the British is actually kind of the worst option. Although I guess that would mean that you would have more of your own resources, which you can then invest in building. But I want free trade. Like, we have actually a fairly decent number of raw materials, and I'd like to export those. Are we annexing Germany today? No, we are joining the Germans. I did do a straw poll earlier, and that is what was decided, because we've actually got a very interesting pro-Germany option, which is... where's it gone? Assume the Naval Burden. This will give us a production cost reduction of minus 10% for all ship classes, and it gives us 6 free dockyards. And basically it turns us into the naval power of the Axis, which I think is kind of cool, and it blends in very well with what Man the Guns and basically what I wanted to try out in this DLC. So I'm really, actually, I'm okay with this. I don't usually side with the Germans, but in this one I think I will, even though I kind of set out to go pro-democracy. And actually there is going to be one downside. If you'll remember in the game creation bit, we buffed Germany, we buffed Italy, we buffed Japan. So I don't know how much of a fight the Allies will put up, because we did that. So just bear that one in mind. Although we are playing on veteran, so we ourselves are being debuffed. Okay, occupy territories. Oh, right, yes. Okay, we do actually have some. Exile government, and then we have the Dutch East Indies as subject. Cool. I can't win. I just can't win. How many of these are there? You're not one as well, are you? I don't think this one is. Very long track. Hasn't even started, right? Let's just go. The Axis theme. Seems suitable. Okay, so we can't do caves to the Germans until we've invested in some of the others. Overturn budget cuts would give us more war support. Our war support right now is minus 9.2, so that's not really going to help us. Prepare the inundation lines. I think that's more what we need to do once the trade has shifted. We could obtain colonial investment and start building up Curaçao. Especially for the oil. And build up Java and Sumatra, but I don't know what's going to happen with Japan. Because the one that we need to do in order to assume the naval burden is placate the Japanese. And I'm very worried that that's basically going to be giving them Indonesia. But yeah, I would like to start upgrading those, so let's go ahead and do this. Though they are strongly anti-colonialist, the Americans have nevertheless long had an economic interest in our colonies, in particular the West Indies. Along with the British and the Japanese, they yearn to make more investments in our colonial development, both in the West as in the East. We should encourage this. What, getting other people to pay for our stuff? Hell yeah. Do it! The other thing that we are trying to do is get our naval experience up to 100 so that we can use it to buy some naval doctrines and reduce the technology. Can I show the neutral path? I can have a quick look. I mean, I went through all of this in the previous stream, so I don't really want to retread the same ground too often, especially when it's stuff that I've covered. But the neutral path is either Legacy of the Zaven Provincian, which is basically the communist path, where you can align with the Soviet Union, you can align with communist France, or you can basically become your own communist bloc. And it has various things, especially for manpower. Or you can do Oranje Boven, which basically allows you to promote Queen Wilhelmina into the absolute ruler, and you can basically try to rebuild the Dutch Empire. Or you can kind of go the hybrid Oranje Boven / unity through democracy by going with Britain, which still has you trying to rebuild your empire, but on a rather more benevolent side. Alright, so we can modify our government. I was thinking that we probably want the war industrialist. Yeah, I think we do. I mean, that military factory construction speed and the dockyard construction speed is going to be super, super good. So, let's do it. Adrian Dijkshorn. And now we're out of political power again. So at some point we are going to need to start placating these guys. Probably sooner rather than later. I'm kind of curious to see if they want to invest any of their own resources into this, though. Okay, so upgrades are continuing. Most of the submarines are done. And we're still upgrading 2 of the Hakon Longbeards. I think those are my Java ships and then 2 submarines. Then we're also building a Dorota, which I thought was going to join the... That's the submarine fleet. Oh, I see. The Royal Dutch Fleet was disbanded. Never mind. Hey, hot coffee. Oh, and Poznik. I saw that you resubbed a while ago. I think that was while I was on my break. For 19 months, which is kind of bonkers. So thank you very much for that support. I appreciate it. Naval power of the Axis. Japan. Am I a joke to you? And Italy. Yeah, I'm not maxing the infrastructure. I already worked that one out. That's why I'm only doing a level 8. No, level 4. Which What am I doing right now? I may have miscalculated that by 1. It's currently going to level 5. Well, there's 4 to go, which is level 8. And then there's 2 which you get for free. Yes, I worked it out. It's fine. Decisions can unlock development of the islands. No. Oh, and this is the relocate to Batavia if things are going badly. And that's to build up Friesland. Repudiate the Treaty of London. The Treaty of London of 1839 disgracefully separated the north and the south of the lowlands after an all too brief period of unity. Now, under our leadership, we can recreate those days and make our intended places the counterweight to France and Germany. So we can become the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. Luxembourg becomes a core, and we gain cores in all Dutch and Belgian states in Europe. So we need to control Luxembourg, we need to control Belgium. Control, not own. Control. So we just need to hold that territory. Which means I need to be the one to push south into Belgium, not Germany. Speaking of which, actually, the other thing we need to keep an eye on is what focuses Germany's going for. Doing army innovations right now. I don't think Germany's even done Anschluss yet. So we've got time. It's fine. And here we go, we could placate. I think I'm going to placate the Germans once. Takes 10 days to do, but that's fine. And then, yeah, we just need to finish the infrastructure. And as the infrastructure gets done, we're going to be getting more and more oil coming in. The more infrastructure you have, the more output you get. We are exporting 26 oil. Oh no, we're only actually exporting 8. Wait, to Norway? Okay. The United Kingdom dominates Dutch trade negotiations. The British have expanded their influence over us to the point where we are forced to favour them in the current trade negotiation. Well, that's a good thing that I started to favour the Germans then, isn't it? So this is the balancing act that we would need to do. At the bottom it talked about the East Indies. Yeah, that bottom decision is to increase their government strength or their stability or something like that. Yeah, increases their stability and their democracy support. So if I was planning exile to the East Indies, that's the one we would do. And there we go, the Fokker D21. So let's start researching something else. We are 4 points away. You know what, I think we can hold off. We'll hit 100 naval tech before the month is up. Easily. Do we need to build forts? I'm not convinced we do. Because I'm rather hoping that Germany can take the brunt of the war, particularly against France, and especially because, again, we've kind of pissed off I did that, actually, beef up the Axis. I wasn't expecting to join the Axis when I first started this series. Probably shouldn't have done it to a straw poll and stuck to my guns, because now it's going to be too easy. The Guangxi clique has joined the Chinese United Front. That's good. Guangxi is really strong for them. Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong have issued a joint announcement declaring that they have set aside their differences in the face of the Japanese attack. Both sides will observe a strict policy of non-aggression towards each other for as long as the war against Japan lasts, and have vowed to do everything in their power to throw back the invader. Okay, so we've obtained our foreign investment. So let's get the western possessions so we can improve Curaçao and Suriname, and then expand the Curaçao oil refineries. Oh. We need to have at least 20% world tension for that one. Okay. I'm really going to need to think of how to get my transports through. Like, building up Curaçao is going to be nice, granted, but what if I can't hold it? The other thing is I really need to get some defences over here. Maybe build up a coastal fort.
Yeah, going on.
In fact, let's grab 1st, 2nd and 3rd Division. Put you in a new army, still under the Field Marshal. And you are going to be led by Petrus Wilhelmus Best. Oh, we could promote Vorst tot Vorst. And have you functioning as a general. That is something I wanted to do a while ago. Yes, I want to do that because I would actually like him to be in charge. And then Isaac Reinders is going to be in charge of my island garrison. Damn it. That one is selected. Best is going to be in charge of that. And then Reinders is going to be in charge of that. There we go. And you come over here to Curacao. Garrison that area. Off you go. Wait, a Field Marshal can control 72 divisions? As a general? Really? I did not know that. Interesting. Unyielding Defender, defense plus 10%. Defensive Doctrine, max entrenchment plus 30%. Both of those would be good. Wait, it will cost 15 telephones to assign this. I've only got 12. I shouldn't be able to do that. Weird. Garrison size, that's what it is. Yep, thank you. Stick to my guns, would I say? I should man the guns? Yeah, probably. Hey, Tobias. Yeah, I was just falsely thinking that was because I had a marshal in charge rather than a general. How are we doing? Naval tech is done. So, let's take a look at the doctrines. We can spend 100 naval power to double the research for the doctrine. I really want to get some fleet and being techs done so that we have a chance of at least doing some damage to the Royal Navy. So let's go ahead and spend the 100 and work on fleet and being. And then the other thing I think we're gonna have to do is basically abandon the East Indies. Maybe we can leave the submarines over there. Well, no, the submarines are the ones who are going to be able to do damage here to the Royals. We'll basically just use the Netherlands as a giant submarine base. How do I want to do this? Well, Indonesia does have... Actually, do they? Does Indonesia themselves have a navy? No. No, they do not. That's true. I could be recruiting some of their troops, couldn't I? That would resolve some of my manpower issues. We do have a surplus of guns now. Speaking of surpluses, I need to start producing fighters. Desperately. Like, one of the worst things that could happen is if the British were able to bomb us. Now we need to import a little bit of rubber, which we can do from the Dutch East Indies, which is actually the biggest rubber nations in the world. Unfortunately, I'm importing... Oh, for God's sake, no, I hate this. I hate trading with puppets. And the reason for that is because the numbers involved are so huge that they start to suffer some really, really serious independence problems. Subject exporting to Overlord. Plus 0.8. That's a day? I think. It adds up to being a lot of points. And it means that they really ratchet up their independence movements. And considering how little rubber I actually need, I can't afford to buy from you. I'd love to, because I want to give you the factories, but I can't afford to do it. I have to buy from somebody else. Brazil. Hindenburg disaster. The German passenger airship Hindenburg has been destroyed today while attempting to dock at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station in the United States. For reasons not yet determined, the airship was engulfed in flames and crashed to the ground, claiming 35 lives. Oh, oil companies. Here we are. That's what you were talking about. Attract foreign investors. Doing this would reduce consumer goods factories for 90 days. That's actually very tempting. Attract foreign industry would increase my construction speed for 90 days. That sounds absurd. Attract West Indies oil industries. Curacao adds 2 oil in Curacao and a building slot and a civilian factory after doing this 5 times. So that's basically going to be paying 150 political power. In exchange for 10 oil. Is that 10 oil? Is that add production 2 to Curacao? Is that every time I click this, then add 1 building slot and 1 civilian factory to Curacao after taking the decision 5 times, or do I get the oil after the 5 times as well? In which case, that's basically nothing. Or we could do the East Indies, where there's actually a hell of a lot more resources. Add 1 building slot and 1 civilian factory to Java, Sumatra, and... Okay, so you do get the oil every time. So we're going to do that because I want the oil. And we're going to do that because I want the construction speed. Because we are still held back a little bit in construction speed. Malay has more rubber, I think. Malay is a British colony, though. Nemlinks, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. It's really stumbling over that one for some reason. Also, I want you to have a different colour. You are brown, because that's the colonial colour. And you can be... should be right about there. Orange, because you're the, you know, Dutch Guards. You are clearly orange. And then I think I'm going to go and placate the Germans once more. Just to keep the sides even. And I feel like you guys should be drilling again. Why? Oh, it's manpower you're short on. Yeah, let's wait until you've got your manpower together and then we'll do that. Is there any way of increasing manpower? And fort construction. Naval. That's a lot of naval yards. Fuel silo would also be very nice, actually. even if it is in Holland. And the Zodazay works would also be very nice. Oh, and this removes the Crisis Yarn. I mean, that's only now 10% construction speed penalty. It's not as problematic, but still nice to get rid of. War on fascism should fix manpower. Thing is, I don't want a war on fascism. That'll piss Germany off. And I'm trying to align German. The Germans have expanded their influence over us to the point where we are forced to favour them in the current trade negotiations. Shaanxi has joined the Chinese United Front. Earlier today, China and Shaanxi issued a joint statement that the latter has now been formally granted member status of the Chinese United Front. How is this looking? Improve machine tools. So we could get a conversion speed bonus. Don't see any reason to do that. Could upgrade refineries. We are going to be using refineries. $255 days. These techs are expensive. I think what I want to do is get the light batteries. Medium batteries turns light cruisers into heavy cruisers. Light batteries don't. And yeah, we need better guns to take on the British. We are definitely not doing the unthinkable option. Probably going fascist. Because there's a really... It's just like thematically really cool for what we're doing here. And that is the assume the naval burden when you join the Axis. Which basically makes you the predominant naval power in the Axis. And gives you some pretty huge bonuses to naval production. Really wish some of these focus trees there was a search option or a keyword locator or a way to find focuses that affect manpower. You know what? That's a really good idea. Suggest it. Actually, once we cave to the Germans, I think that's when we can start working on manpower. Yep, recruitable population. Yoked Storm. Joshua, thank you very much for the bits. Appreciate that. Are we going to kill the Soviets? I don't know. Depends if the Soviets come after us. Although we're playing historical, so probably. Oh yeah, we're playing historical. It's not too late to change my mind. Except for the fact that I built up... Well, actually, I haven't built up the Netherlands that much. Not yet. I just built up the infrastructure. Except I could have been doing that in Java. I'd forgotten that I'd buffed Germany, Italy and Japan. Because I was expecting to stay in the democratic side. I'm just terrified that this is going to become way too easy, having done that. Alright, straw poll. There's going to be two options.